Good evening to everyone present here with us today. This is Shreyan from IGCP, today's moderator. I would like to welcome all the viewers who have joined our platform for better exchange of knowledge that is going to be shared by our keynote speaker doctors for today's session. With much pleasure and honor, I would like to welcome our very renowned doctor, Dr. Uday Kumar Jadhav, sorry. Sir is MBBS CHIV, PDCR, AFIH, Infectious Disease Consultant in charge of ART Center, LNT, Medak Mumbai, owner of Life Care Clinic, Total Care in HIV AIDS, Aurangabad, Maharashtra. With the help of Sir and his wonderful insight, we will be taking a close look on today's topic, which is talking to high risk patient about HIV vaccine research, a clinician guide. Now, without any further delay, I would like to welcome Sir again at our forum and would like to hand over the session to him. Over to you, Sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening, all, and it's a pleasure being here with you. And as we know, yesterday it was HIV Vaccine Day that has been celebrated all over the world, and hence I was requested to talk on HIV vaccine, and I chose to talk on talking to high-risk patients about HIV vaccine research, a clinician's guide. So HIV, as we know, is a virus that has been globally found, a pandemic that we are facing from 1981 until date. Though we have conquered a lot of things about HIV, we are in the treatment management, and now HIV positive patients can live a long healthy life, but still we are on waiting for the vaccine that would help to stop HIV or prevent HIV to spread from people to people all over the world. I have been to a lot of places, and I have found that Africa was the worst hit place. In South Africa, the percentage of HIV positive patients was about 25%. And from there, towards all Africa and Asia also, we have high risk patients or patients who possess risk to get HIV. There are a lot of other things that are there which have been so that we could tackle down the HIV risk. But still now we are not able to find some vaccine that will definitely guide us to to control the HIV epidemic. So let's just start with the quick facts. As we know, HIV is a RNA virus, which is also which attacks on the CD4 cells. What are CD4 cells? CD4 cells are the immune cells. Immunity means the process in which a person or a body or cells have a condition or process in which they can stop infections to getting further in the body. So immunity means memory, immunity means strength in which we study, understand, and the cells fight so that the body doesn't fall to the infections or the diseases. So HIV is something that cuts or corrupts the mechanism in which the protection layer is shredded, and therefore people are more vulnerable to different kind of diseases. The diseases can be starting from sexually transmitted infections, or they can also lead to other systemic infections like the respiratory infection, the CNS infection, the dermatological infections, and more. And when more than one infection appears in the body, then it goes into AIDS. Globally, lot of peoples are affected by HIV. We have data from UN-AIDS from 2023 that 39 million people are living with HIV. But more than that, lot of people have died. I would say more than the same number what are living right now, they died due to HIV. Why? Because there is no cure for HIV, but HIV is treatable with antiretroviral therapy. What is antiretroviral therapy? HIV, as such, we know is a retrovirus, and this virus changes the DNA of the part of the cell into RNA. Hence, it's called retro or reverse. So DNA, which is double stranded, comes to a single stranded RNA, and the treatment for that is antiretroviral therapy, which has helped to cut down deaths due to HIV, given a longer life. But no, there is no cure for HIV till date. So, what is the ultimate tool which we can control HIV? And that ultimate tool is a vaccine. So, what is a vaccine? Vaccine is a process in which the body is infected by some infected material, which in turn try to infect the body, and the body develops some kind of antibody for such vaccine, for such elements of the body, and then that particular body has kind of memory cells which enhance the body's ability to fight that infection. So, as we know in the microbiology, the Louis Pasteur and Koch, these are the people who have developed, who had understood bacteriology, and also they were the what do you call the people who find out how vaccines are made and how vaccine help them. So we could treat chicken pox, smallpox, lot of other diseases with help of vaccine. But also recently, when there was COVID, we were there to justify there or to identify that yes, COVID vaccine was used and will help to decrease the infection rate in the society, and we could control COVID. So before coming to the topic, let's first define what are high risk patients. Now, what are high risk patients? The people who indulge themselves in activities in which there is a risk ratio higher than to the safety level, in which these people can succumb to sexually transmitted infection, most commonly HIV. So, what are these groups? Number one group is the men who have sex with men, or what we call in the common language as homosexual men. So, homosexual men at the highest risk because they do not use condoms or protection. Secondly, the anal area is not relatively safe for any kind of penetrative sex. Secondly, people who inject drugs, sex workers, transgender individuals, and individuals with unstable housing or incarceration. These are the people who are under the heading of high risk groups. Now, risk factors, as I told, unprotected sex, sharing needles, and also low STI screening. These things add to the event of getting HIV, as HIV, as we know, is a multiple partner disease. When we have multiple partners, the risk of HIV goes high. So, why should we discuss vaccines with the high risk patients? As we know, when we started studying HIV patients, we used to go to brothels and places where people indulge in high risk activities. So, when we went there in the 2008, 9, 10 era, so when we went to the brothels and places, we found out that how can we discuss with them that how should we have protection. So at that time, safety was our concern, and using protection or condoms for safety was one of a point. So we could make them understand these things by keeping them in the center, their interest in center, and when we could explain them the ways in which prevention is better than treatment, they understood. Yes, being prevented, they can help themselves to work longer, live healthy, and have that particular insight for their life, for themselves, and their children. So now, when we have coming to discuss vaccines, so what is the ultimate aim of the vaccine? The vaccine is a tool in which we can reduce the transmission. So we are there to decrease the transmission such way that people won't get infected with HIV, and that HIV would not progress more. So we have to see how we can address that, and we are addressing the health disparities in the communities, build trust, and that will form a dialogue. So people would accept only and only when the vaccines will make them a future or hope in which they can trust and they can come out with the way in which HIV can be neutralized with the vaccine. So let us come to the what is the current state of HIV vaccine research. Now, when we have seen that we do not have any approved HIV vaccine yet, there are a lot of trials that are going on, and these trials are working in a way in which they can find a solution through which we can control the HIV. The chief trials that are going on are: number one is immunogen design, in which we are using mosaic vaccines. The trial is HVTN, which is done by Johnson and Johnson, and in which adenovirus vector plus protein-based boost is used. The goal used to use a mosaic antigen to target global HIV strain. So this is a trial which is going on. Some are halted, some are focused, but still going on. Second trial that we know is the immunogen trial, in which the mRNA vaccine trial, Moderna phase 2 trials are there, in which Moderna plus NIH, they are using platform called mRNA, which is same as the COVID-19 vaccines. This trial has started in 2022, and the goal of this trial is to test safety and ability to induce broadly neutralizing antibodies, and these particular antibodies will help to focus on target the viral traits. The goal is to decrease the potency, and people getting them would definitely have the option of decreasing trials. So we see there are a lot of people, 1.5 million people who are enrolled in the global vaccine trials, but still date we have not got any kind of perfect source in which the vaccine can be appreciated. So these are the challenges in HIV vaccine development. The number one challenge is that HIV virus is it has rapid mutation, and there are various type of envelope gene diversity. The virus changes its forms, and therefore it is not easy to make a complete or permanent type of vaccine. Secondly, immune evasion. The HIV has a tendency to hide itself in latent reservoirs, and it can be dormant in that particular area for a lot of period of times. Lot of people or researchers have gone to long-term non-progressive people. What are long-term non-progressive people? These long-term non-progressive people, they test HIV positive, but when we try to find the HIV viral load, the viral load is less than the normal. So it is so much normal, so much below the cutoff point that even the high electron microscope or other activities also cannot find where the virus is. But the virus definitely hides in some latent reservoirs. Thirdly, global access. Vaccine is not available in low income countries, and therefore low income countries will always suffer. Secondly, there is also a public hesitancy by misinformation and stigma. Definitely, there are some kind of radical groups or groups in which vaccine is thought to be something that is against the law, against their will, against their thought process, and therefore, lot of countries, lot of people cannot get access to this. So, African continent, and the Asian continent, they pull away when such a vaccine development program is made, and therefore these four reasons help us this help in not to create the awareness for vaccine, and therefore we are still lagging behind. Also, there are a lot of ethical consideration in vaccine trials. Number one, we need an informed consent, and therefore lot of people in poor countries, they are illiterate and they cannot understand the benefit of it. So ensuring full understanding of risks and benefits hampers the people cannot take it in a positive or well side. The leaderships, also the health system, cannot adequately understand the things. Secondly, there is equity. So marginalized group are exploited, and to avoid that, there's a reason to avoid that particular exploitation. There is an issue with that. Thirdly, confidentiality is affected. A lot of people who are injection drug users, or they are having MSM pattern, they cannot come and divulge their status, and therefore privacy is an issue. Also, community engagement is also low because high risk population in a trial design, they cannot create awareness, and that particular thing makes hurdles in vaccine trials. Vaccine are good to work up, but definitely not every vaccine can be made available, and this particular form of vaccine trials has big issues in treatment management of HIV in the future. So, how can we over this particular uh, workup, and how can we understand this? The same thing what we faced while treating HIV since the early years. Stigma attached with this, and stigma can be controlled with proper communication strategies. So, what are the communication strategies that a clinician should know? The number one communication we should know is empathize. We should acknowledge the stigma, fear, and we should empathize them. Yes, definitely the things are there, but we should take over the things so that we can control and understand this. We should use a language patient and avoid the difficult uh, equations or patterns in which people cannot answer. We should make safety protocols in the trial so that people will understand them and make a good communication. Now, how to open a conversation with a person for vaccine trials? Number one, we start with that. Yes, definitely, we are making a progress towards HIV vaccine, and what you should know that we should understand what is. So let us ask them, have you heard about vaccine trials, and also acknowledge them to feel unsure, to understand that when a communication is there in a right way, science can build up trust, and science can help to decrease the HIV awareness, to decrease the HIV stigma in the people, creating awareness. So the common concerns that come is number one is the vaccine safe. So phase trials show the safety profiles are comparable to other vaccines, and definitely number one question comes in the trial: will I get the HIV from the vaccine? So number one answer, that is the biggest fear, that if you are in a trial, would you get that HIV, because HIV cannot be cured permanently. The answer is no. Trials use non-infectious components like proteins or mRNA, which do not affect the immune system. They are there just to see that how they can promote in a human body materials which can uh, build themselves some kind of immunity against the HIV virus itself. Then third is that, are the trials just experiments so that people would be there and they will get infection? But we have to know that every trial, it is approved by the IRB, and these are, and phases 1 and phase 3 trials have been done, so these particular things do not happen. So let us see why the patients could go for vaccine trials and what are the benefits. Number one, we get an access to the cutting edge treatments. Every time we have lot of new things that are coming, and to understand that we need to go for trials. We also get free medical care and also follow-ups that help to benefit in the new technology. And also we are contributing to the science public health. If we go down to the Dr. Snow, who worked on cholera in United Kingdom, the person who found out, yes, that was hand pump that was there in the center, which was got affected, and this particular affection had led to spread of cholera in United Kingdom. Therefore, we need to know that until and unless we go ahead and find out what are the things that are happening and affecting, we cannot contribute to science. Therefore, vaccine trials should be done, should be benefited to the people. Yes, are there any risks? Definitely, there are some risks, and these risks we have to understand. Number one, the side effects. which are generally mild to severe, which can happen. But mild side effects are commonly seen, which are reactions at the injection sites, or some people get dizzy or headache, something like that. So there is also uncertainty because we cannot guarantee. When it is a trial, there is no performed benefit right now. And thirdly, time commitment, which inculcates frequent visits, blood tests. We have to give blood so that we can test it and understand what kind of therapies that are working and what not. So, how does the clinician's role come in such referencing? So, clinician when gets acquainted with such kind of trials, number one, there is screening. So, we have to find out the eligibility criteria in which the trial can be worked up. So, trials can worked up only in healthy from the age of 18 years and above, and to the age of 55 years and low, so that these people can get proper work of the health status. Secondly, we have to have referral partnership. We have to collaborate with research sites so that we can get the maximum data, and the data should be updated in proper status. And thirdly, there is documentation which track the patient interest and follow-ups. So if we can get all the three things done, then the clinician can go and find out what are the people that can be enrolled in this particular criteria, and which paper which are enrolled can be excluded due to the various requirements of the trial. So, as we know, there are a lot of hesitancy while people are when they're vaccine. Number one, such there is education is very low. People are not knowing what is happening. Then people want that there's some good vaccine should be there in which we can control HIV and we can forget HIV from here. But when we see the trials, we do not have the 100% accuracy in that. So we should share some kind of trial studies in which we have seen some results. Also, the participants should know whom trials approved and outcomes, and we should use the community health workers as which are like ASHA workers and etc., which are trusted intermediaries, so that we can address the mistrust. People always hesitate when something new is coming. I understand that whenever there is something new, when LPG gas cylinders were used in India first time, people thought they would explode and they will have lot of hesitancy. Even when electricity was used in first time, people thought that that will burn them or that will have some kind of issues, etc. But definitely, right now we are using LPG cylinders as well as electricity so comfortably. Same we come with the electric bikes also. That how can electric bikes work? They used to burn in the sun, in the etc. But right now we are more going into electric bikes and vehicles. So definitely assumptions by humans that anything that is new, which is different from the current status, may have more negative pattern than the positive. But definitely by addressing the mistrust, we can help them to find out new ways in which we can convert, or we can create awareness about the problem statement. The patient should be in the trials. There are phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. So in the if we tell them about trials like phase 1 trials, then this is difficult to understand, and therefore we should use a language in which the patient are easily understandable. So instead of using BNAB, target viral protein, use the treatment that fights the virus many forms, that helps them to find a connection. And people, when understanding this, they try to get engaged with you so that we can find a solution for the vaccines of HIV. So I will just point out a case study, a patient journey. So a 22-year-old MSM with undiagnosed HIV. So it was in a vaccine trial was given to him, and he found that the vaccine trials are too risky. So the clinicians explain them about the trial phases. They are reassured about safety and the local study, and the patient enrolls in the phase 2 trial. So, what is the role of community engagement? The partner with the uh, Black, Indigenous, and LGBTQ organization, we have peer educators. So these peer educators try to spread the information with the people, and therefore they can have lot of people for the vaccine trial. Yes, stigma is the barrier and we need to address it. So the stigma is something that we should understand the health and identity, and therefore we should not be identifying the people, but we will be trying to help them to gain health. And therefore, we have to understand, generalize the statement that you are not alone, and we are here to help you, so that people can understand the stigma barrier and they would help us to get to moving towards the vaccine. So the vaccine that we are trying to work up is a global equity. People are trying all over the world to find a solution for this. And HIV disproportionately affects low income countries. Low income countries means people are less educated, people are less trustworthy, and definitely there are other issues in which there is no future plans for them. So we should advocate them for global fundings like UNAIDS, Gavi. They can help them. Also, we can support them by telemedicine for remote trial participation. More the participation, more we can work up in which people can understand how we can address the HIV vaccine so that we can get the results in the future. So, what is the future for HIV vaccine, which we can watch for? There are three vaccines we are saying. Number one is mRNA vaccine, which is a rapid development, which is adaptable to the variants, and it can be the future vaccine for the people. Secondly, the lentiviral vectors are there, which are long-lasting immune responses, sorry, which help them to create a strong antibodies in them. And also, we have combination therapies in which there is vaccine plus pre-exposure prophylaxis. Now, pre-exposure prophylaxis, as we all know, is something antiretroviral therapy that is given when a person is exposed to a HIV virus via blood or via sexual route. Then we give them a tablet of antiretroviral therapy with three or more ART molecules in that, which help them to control or kill the virus. It should be taken within 4 hours to 72 hours of exposure and for 28 days or 4 weeks. These HIV tablets have lower side effects, and till now we have seen that very few people uh, get infected without PrEP. So if you given PrEP properly, people can treat for HIV. So the practical tips for clinicians is that number one, we have to be stay updated. We have to subscribe to journals like Lancet, HIV, etc. You can also have online platforms also. Use patient education tools like infographics or videos. We collaborate with researchers, attending the local conferences, and document track patient and feedbacks. Sorry. So in this way, we can get to people who can get treated or get enrolled in the trials, and therefore we should share them the details and we can research on them so that we can get together. Last case study I would like to share: a 28-year-old person who was having injection drugs with chronic hepatitis C. There was challenge that he has fear of needles, and the solution was that the clinician connect to trial of with minimal injections, and lastly the person enrolled and shared her story to recruit others. This is where we can inspire people so that we can get more people for vaccine trials and we can understand them better way. Thank you very much. This is something I feel was important while talking with people with high risk patients about HIV vaccine research, and therefore talking with them, making them understand and how things can be better in the world way, so we can understand and provoke, we understand and take them into the trials so that we can have a HIV vaccine in the near future very soon.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful presentation. We do have some questions from our audience if you'd like to take that up.
Yeah, sure. Am I visible? I'm not sure.
Yes, yes, sir. You are perfectly visible. So,
Okay.
sir, let me just ask you the questions.
Yeah.
So, sir, the first question to you, sir. How
Mhm.
can clinician effectively initiate a conversation about HIV vaccine research with high-risk patient?
Yeah, the way the person should understand that HIV vaccine research is going on all over the world. This vaccine, they are contributing to a future in which we will not face the HIV again, or the worst phase what a world faced. And these vaccines are safe. The vaccines are coming in a way in which they are studied, and the person who is under trial would not get HIV. The biggest fear of the person under trial is that, if can I get HIV if I'm in the trial? So that is something not been there, because all the vaccines that have been made, they are made in some parts in which we can find a way in which we can control or stop the virus from getting inculcated or intoxicated in the person's body. For that, we need to have some kind of system. That system is under work.
Next up, sir, what are the key consideration clinicians should keep in mind when discussing HIV vaccine research and patient from high-risk population?
Can you repeat the question? What are
Sure,
the
sir. The question was, what are the key consideration clinicians should keep in mind when discussing HIV vaccine research with patient from high-risk population?
Yeah, the people from the high risk population, they have issues that they would be labeled HIV if they are in such kind of trials. So the stigma attached is one thing that one should be considered in a highway. So these people should be known that we are not stigmatizing them or their way of life. We are just trying to find a way in which we can understand the protocol for HIV vaccine, and we can develop a vaccine in a sure and safe way. The safety is the first concern. We are trying to be have safe. Safety is the priority, and secondly, whatever study happens, they would not be getting infected by the HIV virus.
There is one last question, sir. What resources and support should clinician offer to high-risk patient interested in participating in HIV vaccine research?
Can you repeat the questions? What
Sure.
resources? So
What
resources.
resources and support? Yes, sir.
Okay. So for the resources, I have told you there are journals dedicated for HIV, which also are there dedicated for HIV trials, in which we can understand that lot of people, because since HIV is a global problem, there is research being going on. Now we have a disparity in the economic zone. So the developed countries have less number of patients, but more research going on. But the underdeveloped countries or poor countries, they have more patients and less research going on. But to compensate that, these people or the groups having in the high resources, they try to engage people in the poor people countries with high number of patients, so get they get engaged there, and we can get a lot of patients. So this is how things are going on. So globally, centers are there in which we can understand the pattern, we can understand the way in which they can be worked up, and these people, when we are doing a global job, would get the best of the results. So whatever things we are planning, it's a global way. So we have to work in a pattern in which lot of people are there, because the virus has different variants, different strains. So the virus in the north India is different from south India. The virus in the southeast Asian countries different from the African and European countries. So there is a lot of disparity in the virus material, gene material, and this can be worked up if we have a unison with each other, and we can make the trials beneficial to all with working in coordination with each other.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering all our question, and thank you for this wonderful presentation. Before concluding, sir, any take-home message from your end?
So a message for this is that it is definitely a lot of things were thought impossible, and one of the them is HIV vaccine. HIV vaccine was thought impossible by the people who understood HIV, and also right now things do look different for them. But now, as we are changing, as we are going into AI, as we are going in higher technology, we have reached the Mars, and also definitely we can reach the which is the HIV vaccine in the near future. There are modalities which we have not evaluated till now from the last few centuries, but I think we could have new modalities with the help of science and technology in which we can develop a new vaccine for our new future generation.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank you,
so
thank
much.
you, thank you very much.